Welcome to the Pan Geekery Podcast, a weekly live video podcast celebrating all things geek from an all-diverse perspective. Welcome back, everybody, from our mid-season hiatus. My name is Earl Balon. I'm an actor improviser based in Los Angeles, California, and my first D&D character was a human paladin back in AD&D. Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition, 2.5 maybe.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say something like AD 20 or something. And I'm like, you were not alive then. Okay. So, hello, I'm Jennifer Zhang. I am an actor, writer, artist. And my first D&D character was a ninja named Junyi, which is my Chinese name. And she was also a rogue, half-elf type.
Nice.
Hey guys, my name is Caitlin Fay. I'm an actor, writer, director, and a musician. And my very first D&D character was none other than here on Pan Geekery last summer. I created a character named Jane Snow. I don't remember what class she was. Right. I don't even know. Oh, she was a mage? Okay. Mage. Jen remembers, but I don't. Okay, I was a mage. She threw fireballs and yelled at Jen for stealing a potato.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as you can see today, we are joined by our special guest host, Mr. Andy Lowe. What's up, Andy?
Hello, my name is Andy Lowe. I am the director of production at East West Players, and I am also director and other creator of other random things. But in my first, actually, you know what? I did not have a first D&D character. My first RPG character was on a system called Champions, and that was a monk. I was a spirit hunting monk that we had created. So
interessante.
I would expect nothing less.
Champions. Well, so welcome back, everybody. What's up to everybody in chat? How have you all been? Hello to Aaron Nabis, Angfernal, Oddball. Good to see you guys back in chat.
Yay.
And really quick, because of what day it is, I just want to give a really quick shout out to our showrunner / exec producer, Mr. Rodney Cahuto, because tomorrow is his birthday.
Yay!
We are going to
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rodney. Happy birthday to you.
All right, we tried.
And now you know never to sing happy birthday via Zoom ever again, because it doesn't work. Earl, you should have busted out the cello. What the heck?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'll have it on hand. It's a little far right now. Happy birthday. Thank you, Angfernal and Aaron Nabis. Kobu Music. This is going great. I take this over restaurant singers any day. Thank you. All right. So we got a packed episode for you today. We've got a lot of things to go over. First of all, we're going to have our very special guest, Mr. Francois Chau. He's joining us on the show. We're going to talk about we are going to talk about a couple of shows. We're going to catch up on the DC fandom, Lovecraft Country episode 1 and Umbrella Academy episode 1. So both of those things are on the table. We are talking about those. So just be warned, spoilers will be abound. And with that, let's bring on our very special guest for today, Mr. Francois Chau. Hey.
Let's go ahead and unmute.
Unmute.
Hey.
Right.
There he is.
How's it going?
Good, thanks.
Cool.
As long as that's like the most difficult thing I have to do, then we're good. Just click on the button.
You're doing great.
Yeah, you're doing great.
So
thank you for joining
you
us.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for having me, you guys. This is going to be fun. I guess you can call me pretty much geeky. I think I can fall into that category.
You are.
You are definitely geeky. And you've been in so many geeky things. Sorry.
Right. Yeah,
All right.
exactly. So many geeky properties. I mean, do you yourself have like a fandom? Is there like one thing you get geeky about?
Like fandom, I mean, like is that something that I'm like obsessed with, or I'm like some show or something?
A fan of.
I'm pretty much a big sci-fi geek.
Nice.
And
Makes sense.
Anything, anything like Game of Thrones kind of thing.
Oh,
Nice.
Is pretty much, except for that last three episodes.
That whole last,
thank goodness.
Yeah.
That whole last season.
It was so good, and then
I like you. I approve of you, Francois.
Francois, so like you've been in so many properties, a lot of stuff that people would remember. Specifically, we're talking about The Expanse and Lost, but also Ghost of Tsushima, which just came out this past month. And one thing that most of us might not remember on this chat, well, maybe a few of us, is we were talking about, we were looking at your IMDb, and we saw that you played Shredder in TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze. And we all, like, that's when we lost our minds for real. So.
Or at least the older members of our...
Yeah. Jen and I weren't born yet, so...
I was going to say, I don't think any of you guys were born yet.
I'm kidding. I was alive. I don't know if Jen was.
I was not.
Okay. When did it come out? 1990?
90, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a child.
Jen wasn't alive.
Way to out me.
Feel old yet?
High school.
I know. What got you started into acting, though?
I guess I got interested, like most of the actors, probably around high school time. I've told this story so many times now. I went to like all boys Catholic high school.
Oh no!
Which
one? Which one?
The one that produced. And it's
you don't have to say it's all.
Not something that
it produced you.
Well, it produced me, but it also produced two of our Supreme Court judges.
Oh
wow!
Kavanaugh and Ghost.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's not something that
that's not the greatest.
Podcast too much, but it was called Georgetown Prep. It was all boys. Run by Jesuits. It was kind of like Dead Poets Society,
Yes.
Oh wow.
Sort of, we had day students like me, and we also had boarders, and but it was all boys, and it was by I'd say end of sophomore year, junior year, I was like, I'm just going pretty crazy because I was like, where do I go meet girls? Where do I? So you have to go to. So I went to all girls schoost and auditioned for shows.
That's so smart.
If I could get in there, at least I could hang around some girls.
A thinking man.
Yeah.
Big brain energy right there.
So then, once I started doing it, I thought, oh wow, this is fun. This is like something I could do maybe. And then after that, I went to college. I got my degree in, was it a BFA in acting, which,
nice.
I mean, I can say that, but it doesn't, for all you guys out there going to school, it's good to have it, but once you get out of school, it's nothing.
Don't tell that to Jen. She mastered.
You can't go into the office and say, "Hey, look."
100%.
That's why I dropped after the first year.
That's why I didn't finish.
Yeah.
It's it's great. And
where geographically were you actually?
I was on the East Coast. I was in Washington D.C.
In D.C.
Cool. Yeah. And once I graduated, most of my friends went up to New York. I knew I wanted to do film and TV, so I came out to LA. And man, I've been incredibly lucky since I came out here. It was just, it was good. What can I say?
Clearly.
Yeah. And you're one of the, most notable Cambodian-American actors out there right now, So sorry, go ahead.
No. It's great. I'm so glad that there are other, I guess, what do you say, upcoming generation of Cambodian-American actors, because for a while there, it was myself and the late Hang Nor. And that was pretty much it. So yeah, no, it's good. There's a lot more very talented people coming up.
Did you ever meet Hang, actually?
Yes, I did. I worked with him on a movie. Wow, it was must be like 25, maybe longer, 25 years ago. We did a movie, like a Vietnam War movie, and we shot it in Sri Lanka.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so I hung out with him for a while there, and he was a really great guy. And I did a play in Boston a long time ago called Cambodian Odyssey. And it was based on his autobiography, and they made it into a play, and I played him.
No way.
Which was pretty interesting.
That's pretty awesome. Cambodian Odyssey. I'm just looking up the book right now.
You actually
something you haven't read, Earl.
Earl was very well read.
He's like, I've never heard of this. Sorry.
You also did a play actually out here, right? A number of years ago, called Extraordinary Chambers, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
at the Geffen. Yeah.
At the Geffen, yeah.
How was that?
That was fantastic. It was really, man. That was like, where were we? 2020. It was like almost 10 years ago, I think, when we did it.
Time flies.
Yeah, but it was really great. I had done a couple of workshops of it before it got to the Geffen.
Wow.
And,
so you were on there from like the ground floor?
No, there's a couple other actors that started it, but then somebody suggested they call me, and then I started working on it, and it was it's like, really, you say this a lot, but it's like a role of a lifetime, where I was working on it, and I was doing it, and I thought, wow, this guy is me, except for the being a genocidal murderer.
Aside from that tiny detail,
But it was a Cambodian guy who spoke French, and who I don't speak Khmer, but it was kind of tailor made for me. So I thought, this is great. It was a great experience.
I was going to ask, do you speak French? Because you lived a bit in France for a while, right?
French is my first language.
Oh, wow.
That's what I spoke when I was...
Parlez-vous français?
Mais oui, bien sûr.
Oh, enchanté!
Yeah, c'est bien ça.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I used to speak, when I was younger, I spoke French and Vietnamese.
Oh, wow.
I left Vietnam. I lived on my way over here to the States. I lived with a foster family in France for got to be like over a year or so. And all I spoke was French. When you're a kid, I lost all my Vietnamese.
Oh, no.
To this day, I'm like, I wish I could have, when I hear people speaking Vietnamese, I go, oh, hey, yeah, I know it's Vietnamese. I just don't understand it anymore.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know that it's
Yeah.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
You got it.
Like many other things in life. Sorry.
Yeah.
When did you end up picking up English then?
When I came here, it was, I think I was around, I must have been like seven or eight.
Oh, okay, wow.
So I had to go to like a bilingual school at first. It was French and English. And then it didn't take me too long to learn, I think when you're a kid, you can learn it pretty fast. And I learned it very fast because all I did was watch TV.
That'll help.
Same.
I've heard.
Same.
Yeah, it was great.
What were your shows back then?
Well, of course, original Star Trek.
Nice.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
And all these shows from the 60s, I would like, and you guys probably, I bet you, many of you know any of these shows, but I was like the Man from U.N.C.L.E. Anybody know that?
Yeah, Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Of course, Batman.
Yeah, 60s Batman. Adam West Batman.
Adam West. Yeah.
Wild Wild West. No?
I remember
yeah.
Wild Wild West,
Yeah.
The 1999 film?
No, we don't talk about it.
One with Will Smith and the giant.
That's the
Steampunk.
one I know.
The steampunk.
with,
West. Yeah. that
with
one.
Kevin Kline.
Oh god.
Same thing.
I'm old.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But I watched all of them. I loved. I'm a big Western fan.
Oh, nice.
I've watched, and then you know what? There's a channel now. I forget what it's called, but they play westerns all the time. They play like Gunsmoke and Bonanza and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I used to love those shows. And I watch them now, and I just go, man, what? They're so racist. I don't watch it anymore. I can't.
It's so true, though.
Everything is like, oh, look, it's the bad Indian guy, and oh,
I know, right?
And
The other.
You know, there's a lot of shows where you watch when you were a kid, and you go, man, this is great. And you watch it now, and you go, wow.
Like, ooch.
You see a different light, yeah.
Yeah, even from a few years ago.
Yeah.
You're like, that passed
It
back.
didn't age.
Yeah.
That didn't age.
You know, because I have a friend of mine who, African American gentleman who used to work for Rockstar, video game company who created the Red Dead Redemption.
RDR, right.
And you know, it was interesting. I remember when I played through and I asked him about this. You know, there are a lot of African Americans throughout that game. And you know, and of course, him being an African American and meeting some of his friends who were also African American coders and designers on that game, and they were like, you know, I mean, we did the research, and so it wasn't even like a conscious decision to do it or not do it. It was that they were doing historical research, and so many of those settlers were, you know, escaped slaves or freed slaves.
Yeah.
So it made all the sense in the world to kind of weave that into the storytelling of the game. And it's kind of fascinating to just kind of see how that is influencing some modern Westerns and not.
No,
Right?
no.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why Westerns aren't really popular right now. I haven't really seen anything that I would call a Western.
We need a neo-Western.
Right.
Neo.
What do you think
Like a new
about?
one.
We
Well, I
need
mean,
a proper adaptation of Bass Reeves. That's what we need.
right. I mean, what did you think? Well, I guess like Mandalorian has like very Western undertones, but like, what do you think about something like Westworld?
Oh, that's
You have
true.
a chance to pick that up.
I loved the first season, and then I got really confused after.
Us too, Francois. Us too.
Us too.
Even and this third season, I was like, wow, what?
Why are we so vibing right
I know. I get. You didn't like Game of Thrones. You didn't like second season of Westworld.
No, wait a minute. Like I said, Game of Thrones was great until the last
season.
episodes.
now? Yeah.
And then and that's what made it so
Disappointing.
So-
yeah.
It's disappointing.
hurtful.
It's
It was so good
traumatizing.
until then,
Yeah.
and
Oh God. I think because we did a pretty deep dive on Game of Thrones while it was, we covered like episode by episode, and I think it broke us by the end of the finale. We're just like tired.
We were done.
Flip the table.
There was no more life in us.
Yeah.
No.
Same
We
with
were
Westworld.
betrayed.
We tried to cover Westworld season 3, and
Well,
It
there's
was
Westworld
it
season
just
4,
it just
right? I don't
didn't
know
happen.
Yeah.
What are
What
they going
else
to do in
is gonna
season
happen?
4? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't
we
really
actually
care to
haven't
know,
finished
to be
it,
honest.
you know?
Yeah, we just gave up.
Right. So in the chat we have somebody. Skull Monkey 714 says, "Dude was great as a scientist in Dr. Chang Lost, the Dharma scientist." What was that role like for you?
I mean, literally, it was. My feeling as an actor in this business is, I'm sure not too many people agree with me, but luck has a big role to play in things.
It's true.
It's like timing and And it just, I mean, it was lucky that I happened to be at that time, and I got that role. And it literally, you never see that kind of stuff coming. But when I got the role, I thought, hey, great, hey, I'm on my way to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then they called, hey, your call time is tomorrow, and you're going to Burbank. And I'm like, what?
That's it.
Yeah, no. So the first couple of times I worked the show, it was in Burbank, and after that it was Hawaii. But it really, I didn't know anything. I mean, I didn't know anything about it because by that time they were very, very paranoid about things leaking out and stuff. So I never got stuff that I was supposed to do until like the night before or.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff like that. So I don't, it's like, oh, you're working each time. You don't really have a knowledge of like what your character is. You just go, they just give you like a little bit of stuff and you go, okay, well, I'll just do this. And then as it goes along, as you watch it, you can get a little bit of the person's character. And man, I didn't watch the show until season 3, I think.
Oh.
No. And the only reason I started was, people would ask me, fans would come up and say, hey, in episode blah, 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 what happened? What did this mean?
Oh, no.
I was like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. So I started watching it, and I started doing, by the 5th season when I got more to do. And by that time, I can't really change anything because I was watching and I was going, wow, my character is kind of an asshole. What happened? Why is it? And then, so to answer your question, it's great luck to have it. And it's pretty much life-changing because people are still pointing at me in the grocery store.
Right. Absolutely.
I was on a plane once, and I was sitting there, and everybody's coming aboard, and this woman comes aboard, and she's walking down the aisle, and she sees me, and she's like, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Should I be on this plane?"
That's clever.
I said, "No, it's okay. It's okay. I wasn't on the plane anyway, so."
Yeah. Technically, you weren't on.
Yeah, I didn't,
Spoil it.
Well,
So-
okay.
Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, I was going to ask, so you've played a lot of villains or like anti-heroes before, and I hate for you to think that you're like pigeonholed in that like particular corner, but like, what is something that you found is very useful for approaching those roles, since like, other people will enforce their own beliefs on what, like, as you mentioned, what they think your character is.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you go into it so that you're not cluttered by, what the perception of that character would be?
I would say 95% of the stuff I do is the villain, the bad guy.
Wow.
Right?
I wonder why.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
The yellow peril.
Yeah,
Yellow peril. It's so yellow peril.
When I was younger, I would do all these episodics, these cop shows where I was like the gang member, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Just kidding. And then as I got a little older, I kind of graduated into the head gang guy.
Right.
Then as I got even more,
which was important because you were my gang leader. So
That's right.
Yeah.
Then I went. I was the guy in the Armani suit who was like the head guy.
You're just moving on up through the ranks.
Up in the mafia.
It's like you were actually in the mafia.
Right. It actually mirrors like an actual
So crazy.
progression.
Yeah.
I know.
But like I say, playing the villain, you never think of yourself as the bad guy. You don't go around going, hey, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna be the villain. I'm the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's always like in the Expanse.
Right.
I'm a pretty terrible guy in that, but
but fun to watch.
You don't go in there going, okay, I'm going to be terrible to these people.
Right.
I just, you think, oh, I've got something to do. I've got to do it. And I'm not sure. Maybe it's, I don't know why I got pigeonholed as the bad guy. And let me say right now, there's nothing wrong with being pigeonholed. Okay. But maybe I just have a lot of hidden anger issues that
it's very apparent. Yeah. It comes out when you act.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I do want to say that even though you do play, the bad guy or the anti-hero a lot of times, you never come off as unlikable, I don't think. You still somehow, I don't know, at least for the guy, Jules Pierre Mao in The Expanse, you want him to succeed to a certain level, right? You want him to find his daughter and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it depends on, and The Expanse, I have to say, one of the best things about that show was the writing and the casting.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
I'm like, wow. This is, people talk about diversity. I mean, this is what they're talking about. I hope they keep it up, and they did. So yeah, it was. If you have good writing, it's very easy to do what you have to do. There are times when you kind of know it's not. I don't want to say bad writing, but it's not really as good as when you get the scene that you're supposed to do and you have to memorize your line. The really good writing, it's so easy to memorize. And the other times, for some reason, you just go, well, why can't I? Why can't I get these lines?
That's why.
Yeah. It's like,
what am I saying here?
That's true. Like when it's okay. Right? Yeah, that makes sense. But,
with some of these characters that you've had, you have these long arcs, and of course, even like with Lost, or even like Tick, where you were not the bad guy, you're actually a very good guy, but you still have this long form arc. Like, how do you go about making choices when you don't know what the writers have in mind for you a couple seasons down the line? Like, what is your guesswork for that?
Yeah, I think. I hope I don't sound like pretentious or anything, but I think you just have to go with what you have right there. Because if you're starting to think, oh, you know what, down the line later on, there's this happening, then at least for me anyway, then you get into all sorts of trouble about what you have, what you're trying to portray, or if you're thinking about, if you're not just there in that scene or what you have to do in that moment, then it's I think it kind of muddles things up for you. At least for me, I like to. Acting for me has gotten to a point where it's so simple, and yet it's so hard to get to that. Just that simple, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You try to relax, and you figure, oh, why can't I just relax?
I like how you say it so simply.
I know.
But it's actually very complex. It's a complex matter, though.
Yeah, It is simple. You just you listen, you talk, you listen to the person, you answer. You just know. But to get to the point of to get to that, I don't know why it's so hard to.
It's because we're human beings. Everyone gets anxious. Yeah, the eternal. Yeah. Why is it so hard to do something what should be so easy?
Right. This is the eternal question.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to say, also coming back to the Tick, also, it was so fun to watch you in that show because it really was kind of an over the top character. Go ahead.
No, I have to say that, literally in my 35 plus years, that character of Walter is my favorite character
ever.
No, ever.
Wow,
nice.
great.
it was just and talking about trying to get that effortless acting.
Yeah.
Walter was just there. Never, I was just like, hey, this is me.
Walter.
I'm like, oh man, this is me.
Also, and I love that you've got the sweater. You're like such a mild-mannered guy, and there's so much insanity happening all around you. It was fun to watch you just going, oh yeah.
I haven't watched this, and now I have to.
Let's all watch it together.
Yeah.
Watch it because there's a spoiler come. At the Walter's not.
Now, did you know about that?
No, not until later on.
That's awesome. That's great.
I love this conversation. This is so wonderful. I think most of us are actors here, right?
I know.
Kind of actors. We're getting like
it. Yeah. Taking notes. Francois said.
What I mean,
don't listen to me about acting and stuff. It's weird. I know
you're just only one of the most successful Asian American actors in history. So
it's prolific. Prolific.
I know what I can do. I know what I can do, and I've taught a couple of classes, and I've directed a couple times, and I'm like, you know what? Because all you guys have just are so talented with your actor, writer, director / and I'm like, I'm an actor. That's it. I don't have any I don't want to direct. I directed a show, and it all came down to like I'm thinking in my head, don't do that. Do what I do, like which is like the worst thing to say. Right? I've taught a couple of acting classes, and I made people cry, and I didn't.
Oh, no.
Really?
That's not good. I don't know what I'm doing, but
I think
it's not good. Yeah.
Are sensitive just in general, and like once you push them just like a little too far, especially when you're giving notes, it's just
Yeah, I figure
fine line.
You've actually taught some classes for us over at East West though too, right?
Yeah. Even
don't sell yourself short.
No.
Yeah.
And at the old East West,
Yeah.
long time ago. Yeah.
Wow.
So
before it was in the current space, or
oh yeah.
Wow.
Where did it used to be?
Which
on Santa Monica Boulevard. It was the old 99 seat theater.
Did not
where it had been there for years and years.
Now, you were there. Did you work with Mako at all? Actually,
Yeah.
Nice.
I was there when Mako was the artistic director, and then
and did you train in the conservatory that they had back then, or?
I came to LA in 84, and one of the first things I did was go to East West and hook up with them, and I think I took a couple of classes in the conservatory. I ended up, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up kind of being in charge of the conservatory for a couple of summers.
Way.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
So I do want to go pull it back into Lost for just one question.
Sure.
I know there was a lot of. Did you actually finish the series? You finished watching the series?
Yes, I did.
So there was a lot of controversy around the ending. Did you catch any flack for that, or what did you think about it in general? I
liked the ending. I was in the camp that I see Rodney's going. I was in the camp that liked it because I thought no matter what they came up with, people are gonna, there's a side that are really into all the minute little details of things that they planted and questions that never got answered, and they my friend from college was watching it, and after he watched the finale, he texted me and said, "I just wasted 6 years of my life."
Oh man, I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
No, 8
Except
years.
it was 8 years of my life.
Game of
Even
Thrones.
more so, because like
8 years of my life.
because there was like half seasons that were like that went over 2 years. And,
Yeah.
we were talking about Game of Thrones, but
Yeah.
I heard that they wanted to do like I think 5 seasons or maybe even 4, but it was such a big hit that ABC said, "No, you got to, we're making too much money. You got to keep going."
That's always how it is. They just got to milk this cash cow.
Yeah.
Story be damned.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Okay.
5 was a really good season, I thought. Gosh, that because the Constant was in that season.
Yeah, 5 was the one where they went back and into the 70s. Yeah, so like, the
Right,
time
yeah.
travel season.
Time
before
travel
the-
season.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was super cool. Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat.
I was gonna ask. So in chat, somebody is asking, how is it like acting in a video game? Which was kind of my question anyway, because I've been playing. I just finished like maybe a third of the first part of Ghost of Tsushima, and you play Sensei Ishikawa, who like generally gives the player the ability to use a bow. Right. So did you have to actually perform archery in that style, or how much of that was?
Did you do like the mocap as well, or?
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to.
Oh, okay.
When they
Okay, no worries.
no,
It's out already.
It took like I think like 3 years from when I started.
Wow.
Wow.
Because I started and they booked me for the job and they said, "Okay, you're going to do this, this, and this, and don't worry about the schedule because we'll adjust it to you if you have to go off somewhere." And I said, "Okay." And they said, "Oh, we should be finished by the end of this year." And then I did some stuff and then I didn't hear anything from them for a while, and then the next year came around and they said, "Oh, you got to come in for some voiceover sessions." I said, "Okay," and it just kept going until. I asked them one time. I said, "Do you guys have a schedule you have to skip to, or what's?" I said, "Nah, these games they usually take 3 to 4 years to complete."
Right.
Yeah.
So I did. I think I was supposed to do the mocap stuff. With the suit and the little balls on your face.
Yeah.
But I think I know there was a time where I was off. It could have been when I was in Toronto doing the Expanse, or in New York doing the Tick, where they had to do the mocap stuff. So I think they just got somebody else to do that, but they still.
Oh right.
Did my face, and I guess they just stuck it on
They just stuck it on to somebody else.
Did they actually go through and scan your face?
Yeah.
The model? That's amazing.
Yeah, they have. You go in for this session where you're in this room with the 360-degree.
It's a
Cameras? Wow.
Cameras, and you're sitting there, and the director goes, "Okay, make a face like this, make a face like that." Like you sit there for like a couple of hours making little tiny, and they just take pictures of you.
Wow.
And then they put the dots on you, and you do the same thing again. And then when you record the voiceover stuff, there are times where you have the camera on you as you're talking, so that they can record the reactions and
like a camera mount on your face?
Yeah, it's like you got a helmet with a little thing here, and the camera.
But you're still in booth then.
Like 2 mandibles.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. It's amazing what they can do now with. I remember long ago when I did some other games where you're standing in front of a green screen, just and then that's about it, right?
Acting.
Games are not. I guess I don't do too many of them, but people still stop me for. I did a couple of games in the 90s called Wing Commander.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
right?
I remember those.
Yeah.
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 And it was like it was like
The full
shooting
motion
a
video
movie.
games. Yeah. Yeah.
Was
Because-
that with Mark Hamill?
yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
Hamill was the lead, and there were like all these other, big time, like Malcolm McDowell and all these guys doing these, working on that thing. And I was like, this games must be, pretty popular. But that game was like, we shot literally just like a movie, where I guess you would play the game and then you would get to a point where you can watch a scene or something.
Right.
And then you can choose, you go this way or that way, or I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so
I never got through it because it was a computer game, and I tried playing it with the keyboard. I would go on a mission and I would die like in 2 seconds. You can't go forward without unless you survive. So, yeah.
So for the young uns listening, so this is Wing Commander,
Right.
which was a game in like maybe
90s.
early 90s.
Yeah, 90, 94, 95, yeah.
Space flight simulator where you were like basically a pilot of a
Right.
a little fighter ship.
Yeah.
Right.
And they would have these cutscenes in between. It was like the first kind of fully cinematic video game trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
And they had Mark Hamill and Malcolm McDowell, and
Did you get to meet
a
them?
race of people.
Oh wow!
The big lion people.
Yeah.
It literally was like working on a movie because you're doing scenes with Mark and
awesome.
who was his name? Biff from
Biff Tannen.
Right.
Back to the Future. Yeah.
Was John Rhys Davies in that also?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in it.
It was an incredible cast.
It was. I was
Gimli.
like, oh, no.
Oh
what's
my
going on here?
gosh!
So basically, there were like cutscenes back then. Before like cutscenes were
a thing.
digitized, were like 3D, fully 3D in engine. Back then, they would just like film the scenes and then digitize them into full motion video.
That's so cool.
On your CD game.
On CD games. A lot of the CD games back then.
CD games.
Red Alert 3, that one. If you've ever seen that outtake with Tim Curry, like going spice. That's one of those. Yeah. We have a question from the chat. How early did the writers from Fred Fraser 1? How early did the writers for Lost let you in on the father-son relationship between you and Miles?
Like I say, they were they weren't real big on warning you about stuff coming up. I was jokingly going, way before that storyline came up, when Ken, who played Miles, joined the cast. I was like, oh, hey, look, another Asian guy. And, he's a young guy. I could play his dad or something. And of course, and then when it happened, I'm going, wow, I wonder, just because there's 2 Asian guys.
Yeah, that's the only reason they got him.
Are they
pretty messed up.
do this, or is it is it something they thought of before, or I don't know.
We're all part of the same big family, man.
Yeah, I know.
Very cool.
That was cool. Yeah.
So you've had such a prolific career. You've been around for you said 35 years at this point.
Yeah,
and
35 plus maybe, yeah.
Wow, I mean that's super admirable, and I'm like the kind of longevity. That's amazing. And I'm sure you've seen like trends in terms of like Asian representation in media since then. Like, how do you think the situation has changed or improved, if it has at all? What do you think?
I think it has finally, and I'm still got my fingers crossed because there have been times in like almost every decade you have something that comes up that you think, oh wow, this could change things, and then
it doesn't.
It does. It disappears.
Not permanently. Yeah.
And then things go back to so it's like you take a step forward, and then you take 3 steps back, and you got to start.
Right.
You got to start all again. But this time, I'm hopeful because there are more Asian American actors who are prominent, in the industry. Before, you would have like maybe one or two people where you go, oh, like, that's a star, and then, but they don't. It's not, I see a lot more, especially for the younger generation. I've watched everything as much as I can on TV, and I see a lot of shows where at least, all these CW shows where there's an Asian character that's either a regular or recurring. A lot of all the Netflix shows now, there's a lot of stuff out there where there's more and more opportunities for the generation that's coming up. I see a lot of, it's weird because, here in LA, when I first came to town, and after a while, the Asian acting community was, I wouldn't say small, but it was a very short time where everybody knew everybody, or everybody knew of who the person was. Now, it's great that I see people, a lot of younger actors on TV, and like you guys, Caitlin, Jennifer, Earl, all you guys, and I'm going, hey, who are these people? I don't know.
I don't know.
Who is that? I used to play. We always used to play watching TV, and when an Asian character comes up, and
you sit up in your chair.
Yeah,
who's that? Is that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's sitting and watching, putting on the TV?
If you don't recognize them, you go,
oh, there's a new person.
Who is that? Yeah.
A Canadian Asian guy.
Who is she?
I still do the exact same thing, like watching commercials, especially. I'll like, who's that? Like, seen them in the room before.
Right.
Oh man.
No, it's great. I think
Good
it's
times.
with whatever, it's already been like 2-3 years since Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
Right.
2 years.
2 years.
2 years since it came out. Yeah.
And when it came, I really liked it. It came out. Everybody's hear all this. Oh, now this is going to be great for Asian American actors and the opportunities. And I'm like, well, the only Asian American character in that movie was Constance.
Right.
Everybody else was not. Everybody else is not Asian American.
They're like, playing Singaporeans.
They're Asian from Asia.
Right.
Much different from Asian Americans. So I don't know. Hopefully, that movie will open up some doors for people. But there's all these shows that they're been canceled now. Is like Fresh Off the Boat and Dr. Ken and all these shows. There was a time where there's like, oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's a whole bunch of opportunities, and now hopefully it keeps going with all the streaming stuff where there's more opportunities, because like I say, every decade it seems like something happens and you go, oh, this is great. Now we're more in the limelight kind of thing. Maybe there'll be more opportunities, and then goes down, nothing happens, and it seems like, a few years go by and something else comes up, and it's just
like you said,
disheartening. But I think at this time at least, it seems like there's a good chance that things are really, opening up.
I know a lot of people talk about like how Crazy Rich Asians was us hitting that kind of critical mass, and that will actually start the ball or make the wheel go on its own momentum. Right. I'm not exactly sure we're there yet, but I don't know. What do you think? Does like you said, you are hopeful at this stage, and
I am hopeful up to a point. I think more hopeful than I've been in a long time.
What do you think is the what do you think is like talking about like some of the previous booms, right? Like back in the 90s, there was a boom. You
Joy
had
Luck Club.
I was just thinking that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Dragon, yeah. You were
And
just
then of
talking
course it
about that.
fizzled out, right? I mean, after Kia Guerrera had a show, and what's
Relic Hunter, yeah.
Yeah.
Son,
Yeah, all right.
while too. And then of course it kind of tapered down, right?
Right.
So if we're seeing another critical mass point right now, what do you think is the main difference between now and then?
I think hopefully that the main difference is that as a country, we are at a point where I'm not just talking about Asian Americans, but everybody else. We're at a point where it's like, Me Too, Black Lives Matter. Everything is sort of coming to a head, and I hope it's not just another, big explosion and then nothing happens. I think this is a kind of a changing society changing, and that's the only reason I think that this for us, for Asian Americans, it will stick more this time. It's always like you have to always be alert to things, and then if you say something, you have to speak up and say something, and there's always that double-edged sword of, you speak up and you say, hey, that's not right, that's not that's not acceptable anymore. But we're not at a point yet where people can say, hey, relax, you're too sensitive about it. Unfortunately, we always have to be that asshole guy that says, hey, that's not right.
Right.
Everybody else is going,
Absolutely.
hey, come on, calm down. It's just, it was just a joke or something, which
Right.
is probably what it is. But unfortunately, you have to say, hey, if you don't catch it, people will think, oh, it's okay. And little by little, it just goes back. So you always have to, I hope that time is going to pass by soon, where you don't have to constantly be on the alert for things and say, that's not, that's racist, that's not right. We don't do that. I see it, happening more and more. Ghost of Tsushima, I was very surprised that, they really did their research, and they had, we had a Japanese, I think she's an actress too, who was there all the time, making sure we said the names correctly, we said everything correctly, made sure that it was okay. It was the way it was in Japan.
Right.
They had a Mongolian person there, making sure that the Mongolian that they were speaking was correct.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So more and more people are getting more aware, but you hope that's how it's going to be.
Right. Absolutely. Just to pull it back to the Expanse.
I'm
Really
getting
quick.
so serious here. So.
No.
Serious topic.
No.
Yeah.
I know you said for like Lost, everybody production was very reticent about like putting out things early because they were trying to avoid spoilers. Was it the same for the Expanse? Because there are some, there are a lot of spoilers in that first season with regards to your character. Did they follow the same process, or because it was already a novel, they were a little more lenient with it? Or how much forward ahead time did you have with your character's arc?
I think Lost worked the way they did because the show really kind of just exploded. Nobody thought, oh, this is going to be, my wife and I watched the pilot episode and we thought, wow, this is pretty good. This is great. But a couple of people stuck on an island. What are you going to do? Right? But then when it just went crazy is when they had to, calm down. For Expanse, I think the fan base grew from the books. People who watched it had already read the books. So it was more of how much are they going to stick with the book as opposed to trying to keep secrets of what the spoilers. I think
Right.
It's not different, and it's nothing. Nothing is. It's very dedicated fan base, but it's not anything the size of Lost.
It's very true, especially on like considering Lost was like a network.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. You brought this up earlier too, like how the cast was very diverse. That's got to be just being on a set like that. It must have felt kind of inspirational. Just seeing all the that kind of all those different kinds of people like on set. I mean, what was that like? It was amazing, and not only in terms of the diversity, in terms of the different people. Like in the 90s and the 80s, when I did all these episodics, these cop shows, and every season there's a Chinatown episode. Everybody talks about that, yeah. Then you see everybody in the room, right? And you see, and it always has to be so exotic, Chinatown. Of course, they have to speak Chinese. Of course, they have to, they have to have an accent. They have this and that. And with the Expanse, there was nothing that any of that came along. I mean, it was just the character was, Mao was a Chinese guy and whoever else, but that was it. There was no really any reference to, he has to speak some Chinese or he has to do this or that. And and it still gets me there, and it still happens where even now episodes where they have a Chinese or Asian storyline, right? For some reason, the Asian character has to speak an Asian language in there, right? It's a Vietnamese family, so
speak English until they say yes or hello.
Right. You're speaking English to your family or whatever, and then for some reason you have to speak in Vietnamese or Chinese or something. And I always go, well, why are you're speaking English already, at home? Is it, just because you look Asian that you have to go? It's not like people watching don't know that you're Asian, that you have to speak the language to show, oh, hey, look, Asian family. You got a person Asian. Yeah. Expanse was, and I've been really, really lucky in some of these roles. Expanse, the Tick, Walter, like I say, is just it's just so refreshing that it's just, hey, it's this kind of dull, geeky guy who's just a goofy guy, and he's Asian, but so what? There's no mention of, he doesn't have to speak Chinese, or he doesn't have to show his, Asian background, or his, he's not going to the Chinese market or whatever. It's just this person, and it's great. And I hope that it's more and more of that is going to be the norm. Oh yeah, me too. It's just it's so hard to these cop shows. It's so hard to get out of that. They don't have. They make so many. But they still have something. Right. So did you pick up any Belta language on set at all? It's just me being a nerd. It's okay. Jules Mao. I don't speak. I know. Jules Mao would never speak Lang Belta. Yeah. I don't hang out with Belters. That was just a question for me. I just had to know. I do want to, before we do, thank you so much for joining us. And this has been a pleasure. I'm sorry. I'm once I start, I feel like I start ranting. And
no, we want it.
Fascinating. I appreciate it.
I love it.
It's great. Yeah. I do want to bring up that you did work on a project with Andy here. Which was? Wait a minute. Yeah.
He's like, we did.
Wait, what?
You guys worked on a project together, right? Like,
no. Well, that's what I was joking about before, because This was my first SAG role on a goofy syndicated show called Nightman.
Man!
On a Malibu comic. So yeah, so there's footage of us of you getting in the van and me in the van as your young punk, pulling out my gun, going, "Let's go get it."
If only I had known it was you. I remember
that was like years ago. I think Jerry Springer was in that episode as well.
Jerry,
he was kind of a recurring. There was a Stu Seago production.
Remember that?
Down in San Diego.
I shot there so many times.
Yeah,
because I grew up there. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wow.
Nightman. Wow.
Nightman.
That was
and that was their Chinatown episode.
Of course. I think I played
I just linked the clip in chat where you're working across the great Andy Lowe.
Oh man.
Oh, that's so great. Really quick, thank you so much, Zaranami, for subscribing. That's we super appreciate it. Thank you so much. But Francois, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure.
This is really great. I like I say, I hope I didn't rant on too much about
No, you inspire us.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
Inspiration.
I want to be like you.
We all want to be like you, Francois.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you so much, Francois.
That's scary. Don't do that.
Okay, I don't want to anymore.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
I want to be like Walter.
I want to be like Walter.
Y'all are selling me on the show, like, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the cartoon in like back in the day, but like I hadn't seen.
It's got a pretty big following. My cousin is really big into the comic book. He was really
big. You ever see the animated version?
No.
Yeah. I watched it a lot. The animated.
That was great.
Ooh,
funny.
Yeah.
So, but thank you so much, Francois, for joining us. You know,
Thanks,
like I said, it's really, I'm a huge Lost fan. I'm also a huge Expanse fan. So, like I said earlier in our pre-meeting, you know, when I was, I do shoot a lot for the red carpet. You know how it's kind of like frowned upon, like, to not take pictures or to talk to the actors, personally. But then when I was interviewing you and I came, you're at Andy's East West Players to the Mamma Mia red carpet, I was like, I need to like just take a picture with you because I'm a huge Lost fan and a huge Expanse fan, and I'm just like, I couldn't pass it up, and like seriously, I'm fangirling over here. So thank you so much for coming on, and like seriously, like it's just really a huge pleasure, because it's like to see somebody like you, an Asian American, and these properties, and also like it's really geeky properties, which is like it's just like the Venn diagram of everything, right?
You're in the middle.
Yeah, it's just So
my pleasure, guys.
Yeah, thank you
it's
so
weird
much.
That I don't know what you're talking about when you're not supposed. Are you not supposed to go talk to the actors at the red carpet stuff, or what?
I mean,
it's frowned. It's totally.
Right?
Give them.
I try not to.
I think it's a little bit different for these, but for like the bigger events, it's kind of frowned upon that, like, you take pictures, like selfies.
Like
stuff like that. Yeah. So
I guess
I don't know. I just like, protocol will be damned. I'm taking a picture. So thank you so much for joining
welcome.
us and being.
I always, I guess, I'm just, I'm not a big movie star, so my thinking is, people approach me all the time, and I've been with other actors or well-known actors, and they're always like, and I'm thinking, why are you doing that, man?
It's just a dude.
Yeah. Why do you have to act like that? And I've seen it a lot, and I still don't get it. I'm like, hey, I'm not going to kill you to say hi and say, hey, nice to meet you, kind of stuff. So, hey, if you see me again at a red carpet, which
we'll get a selfie.
Which
we're gonna get a selfie.
I try to avoid. You'll see me sneaking around the back, going into.
We'll keep a lookout.
All right.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
guys.
Thank you for joining us and having an amazing night.
Much.
A lot of love in the chat for you right now. Fred Fraser, Angfernal, Gin Chronic, Zarnami, everybody says thank you.
Gin and Chronic,
so, Unicorn Peach Fuzz. So everybody.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
But thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a good night and take care.
Well, have a great rest of the show.
Thank you.
Bye, friends.
I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Yeah,
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Oh
So inspiring.
I know. Wasn't that cool? That was
He
super
was
cool.
so nice.
He's so chill.
He's like
that
this cute uncle. Like,
Whatever. You can have the ice cream sandwich. Whatever.
he was like ranting. Yeah, it was just so cute.
Just eat popcorn for lunch. It's fine.
Don't.
What is no.
Yeah. Let them eat the popcorn. Let them eat the popcorn.
Let him eat the popcorn. He's so skinny.
Yeah. Let them eat the popcorn.
This is so great.
Here's a refill, by the way.
I love how he was like he was talking about how he like tried to teach he was directing actors, and he was like, "Don't do that." He was another talk. He was like, "Don't do that," and he made them cry. It's so funny.
Gosh.
Oh my god! Amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's hard to kind of recover from something like that, but we do have some other things we have to talk about today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I know everybody in chat, right? Wasn't that dope? How do you top that from that?
Yeah,
we could all use a mentor like Francois. Very true. Haven't finished his Tales in Ghosts, but hope nothing bad happens. I have no idea, but it was very cool to listen to.
Oh, it's also GOT. Just
I know. I was
like,
little
what? Oh,
confused.
interesting. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But so we are going to move on to talking about Lovecraft.
So we're still going, guys.
Yeah, we're still going.
909, we're still going.
I know. This is a special welcome back edition.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I just called it that.
It was supposed to be like this. Yeah.
It's a bonus pack.
A bonus pack. Yeah. Longer episode today.
70% more viewers.
Giant-sized X-Men.
For $9.99.
Lovecraft Country.
What did y'all think?
What did y'all think?
Jordan Peele, J.J. Abrams executive produced sci-fi on HBO with primarily black actors.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And dense as hell, man.
Very dense.
It's
I pretty much had to watch it again afterwards because, and like you expect this with like if they're gonna reference H.P. Lovecraft, it's gonna be all over the place.
Legendarium.
It's gonna be lots.
I knew it.
Building. It's also interesting, right? The choice to kind of make these lead characters African American. H.P. Lovecraft, who was a well-known white supremacist,
racist.
Right?
But they called it out.
They did,
in a lot of ways, right?
Very cool.
Like cinemagraphically, or okay, visually speaking, whatever that word is.
Cinematically.
Did you guys catch all of the Gordon Parks references?
Okay, so Jen and I were watching at her house last night, and I turned to her. I was like, why do I feel like I'm missing a billion references
I feel like I'm missing
now?
a lot of
I've only read a few of H.P. Lovecraft's stories. So I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm missing stuff.
Well, this is what I mean. Like, it's not just referencing Lovecraft. It's there's all these
his contemporaries.
There's there's a quick flash, and he picks up the Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, right? Well, yeah, I got that, and then I got Jules Verne.
Even the debate between Baldwin and Buckley.
Yeah.
In the middle.
No,
a lot of stuff.
And the whole road trip montage. Are all these shots that are direct references to the photography of Gordon Parks?
I noticed that because remember I turned to you, Jen. I was like, "This looks like a painting," and I realized it was like when they were at that diner.
I was like
the
exact same one.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
got that.
They recreated the mother and the daughter outside the movie theater. the father and daughter at the coloreds only service counter at the ice cream.
Yeah.
The people lined up for the bus with the billboard of the white family in the car, right?
Yeah.
Are direct recreations of this really famous kind of series of photographs that was kind of looking at race in 1965.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, it was just kind of mind blowing to me to kind of catch that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's so many. Cool it's chock full of references. I did feel as if, like, narrative wise, it was a little top heavy for a pilot episode, because the pilot is all that we saw. The pilot was all that we saw, and I know I've been hearing such great things about it. I did feel as if it was like a very slow burn until the very end, where I was like, "Oh, this is why it's a sci-fi. This is why."
Right.
When it finally blew up, yeah.
I don't know if it was because I was tired or me and Jen just kept looking at each other like, huh? It's not that I didn't understand what was happening. And it's not that I didn't appreciate all the references, the ones that I did get. But it just felt kind of meandery up until the very end, when it suddenly remembered it was a sci-fi show.
Right.
I know there was foreshadowing, don't get me wrong, and I already know that H.P. Lovecraft is known for creating the trope of that weird town with a dark secret. Mm-hmm. So I can already tell where this is going, but I just felt like it took way too long to pick up, and there were some plot points that were not 100% clear. So, like, I still wasn't sure. Why did the friend come with them? Mm-hmm. The female friend, Letitia Lewis, like, why was she there?
I don't think that was explicitly stated.
Right? I know, and she just showed up.
So it's implied. Okay, so I read it.
It was very much implied. Like, nothing was explicit.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, right. It's like you get the sense that she's like the girl with the secret. She doesn't get along with her family. There's the whole with her sister where she's like, "I'm not carrying you,"
and her mom died, right?
Mm-hmm. And she missed the
so she's already a girl, a girl with secrets who sometimes is overbearing and probably gets what she wants, but doesn't necessarily give back. Mm-hmm. So the idea was that she was hitching a ride to go to her brother's house, and that was the house that they ended up.
But then she ended up going with them anyway, because they got into an argument.
They got into an argument, and
then he kicked her out. Right,
brother kicks her out.
Oh,
so it's
I didn't see that as a result of him kicking her out. I saw it as, she's coming along. Yeah. Why is she coming along?
And she just arrived in town, so why is she leaving immediately? That I didn't understand.
It's because her family doesn't.
It was very
random and like.
It's one of those things that you will absolutely miss, like, because as the argument is ending, he says, "I don't want you another night in this house."
Yeah, I heard that. But I know the main guy's mother also died. So then I was like, are they siblings? Like, what?
See, I think they're old friends.
They say she's a friend, so I'm like, okay.
Because they knew each other in school at some point. When she mentioned, like, is that skinny tick with the bottle of Coke glasses?
She was the
I remember that.
Yeah, in the geek club,
right?
Yeah,
the hot geek, hot geek girl, the quintessence, the proto geek girl who looks like Marilyn Monroe.
I was also just really okay. So going back to kind of storytelling style. Right? Like all of this use of audio, of found audio, was fascinating.
James Baldwin had like a long ass monologue.
Well,
it's from that debate
with Buckley, right?
Buckley, at Cambridge,
The very it opens with the kind of black and white war footage, and it's the audio from Jackie Robinson's story.
Is that why he shows up?
That's why he shows up.
Oh, God. We were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then Jamie Chung is beamed down from the sky in a bikini.
The princess from Mars.
The princess from Mars. And we were like, okay.
The Edgar Rice Burroughs, like...
This is random.
I mean...
Trust me, I love random. This is a little too random for me.
A lot of random.
It felt
a lot of random. Yeah.
But to me, it's like it's a heady random, though, right?
I guess.
Something very, I don't know. I mean, to put this in theater terms, it's super Brechtian to me.
Sure.
I could see that, I guess. Yeah.
How it's like, there are mixed messages in everything. There is an implication. There is a way of breaking from what is the story you're being told to the meta story that is kind of being experienced. You know, and true to the whole kind of Lovecraftian thing, right? It's like it's all about existential dread, right? So where your fear based is not necessarily the monsters, even though the monsters are there. It's these white people that are the scarier thing.
Yeah.
Well, at least for this first episode, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It was weird because the first time they were chased out of a town, people were shooting them down with bullets and they almost died. And then they cut to a scene of them laughing about it at the dinner table. And I was like, I don't know about you, but there's no way I'd be laughing for the next week if someone tried to gun me down and kill me. So I just thought it was very strange.
I remember laughing after somebody like shooting at us in high school.
I think it's a different time.
But I wasn't from Long Beach.
That's the reality,
girl. So that's why I wouldn't be laughing. Okay.
Oh my god!
Being actually, I gotta say, high-speed car chase. Oh,
also,
shit.
That car chase is the slowest, tensest car chase I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Like that was a brilliant thing of we have to stay under 55.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
They can't speed.
Yeah.
And they also have to get out of town in 6 minutes because this racist cop is about to hang them. He literally threatened to hang them, and they were about to.
Which is crazy.
And they still followed them anyway.
That was a brilliant use of tension there.
That was
actually that by then it was getting good. I was like, okay, I was already in by then.
In some ways, it's actually the racial tensions is actually more scary than the monsters were.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's what Andy was saying earlier. Like the real monsters, at least in this first episode, were the white folks. And you know, because we didn't know what this whole whether or not they were going to go into Lovecraft in terms of monsters, or if we were going to actually see stuff on the screen until they actually show up, and then it's
then they showed up. Yeah,
and they went in full force on it. We went straight like Jurassic Park,
like Stranger Things.
Right?
That is Stranger Things.
Demogorgons.
Yeah, very Cthulhu. Many eyes,
many teeth.
Oh, is that what that was?
What were they called? The Shogals?
Shog. I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
Shoggoth.
Yeah.
Jen and I went. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I wonder how many other like monsters they're going to introduce, or like
Shoggoth.
You know, because after seeing the pilot, I'm just like, okay, like what is the trajectory that the story is going to go on? Like clearly they're going to establish a lot. I mean, the chalk center, front, right, and center is the civil rights movement, right? And then aside from that, like how is Lovecraftian horror going to tie into that? And do they inform each other? You know what I mean? Like these are questions I have after watching the first episode that I'm not quite sure I can answer yet. I'm not quite sure what the relationship between those things are yet. But maybe it has to do with horror. Maybe it has to do with, you know, classism, you know.
I'm not sure we're supposed to know like what we're in for quite yet. I can say that right now I do appreciate the I'm going to say that the show kind of got me right off the bat when you have this dude, this person of color like that is like a hyper nerd, like in terms of like reading stuff and like but like also kind of hiding it because he doesn't want anybody to know, because I can relate with that. And but and just the depth when he has a conversation with his uncle in his shop, and they're talking about like, oh well, I was more of the horror guy. You liked the Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff or whatever the conversation was. I appreciate that stuff. The unabashed like level of geekery there. I don't know how that's going to serve the story later, but I just want to say that I love. It's like the very beginning of Stranger Things. They went full on D&D without and did not. We're not apologetic about it. So. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know. Again, I don't know how that's going to play out in the story, but I'm looking forward to what else you're going to do.
I mean, pointing out that too, right? What,
right.
You know, linking in the Green Book.
Yeah, the Green Book stuff
with this idea of Lovecraft Country, and you know what magics or evils are. You know, when they go through the map and they have all the illustrations,
which was great. The little Thomas Guide-esque thing.
Yeah, right. I gotta say, I'm intrigued. I'm not a big horror guy. I am familiar with. I never read any H.P. Lovecraft. I'm kind of more like adjacently familiar with the concepts of the more existential dread based horror that it's digging into. And I'm intrigued how they're linking this in with this kind of era, and what it means to do this in 1965. So I'm in for the rest of it.
I think so too. I don't know. It's piqued my interest enough for me to watch at least that second episode. I think. I don't know about everybody else.
I will watch it.
I will watch it.
If we must, yes. I'll keep watching.
Oh, also, what did you guys think? Okay, going back to kind of the use of music also.
Because like the first one, what was the first one? They did the whole like slow version of.
They had a dance hall too.
And this is actually a good kind of transition to we're going to talk about Umbrella Academy later, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have thoughts of the music on that one. But go on.
Oh yeah. I see. I just got the two mixed up music wise really quick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So there's a lot of use of period music to kind of set the time. And
it's like old school horror music.
Like heightened moments of action.
Yeah. It's very dramatic.
Where it was like there's a rap or something contemporary.
It was a rap, yeah. It was contemporary.
Kind of pulled to heighten the action, which I thought was kind of fascinating. And again, like something we'll talk about when we get to Umbrella Academy.
Which happens right now. So Umbrella Academy season 2, episode 1. General impressions. What do y'all think?
It feels like a lot of the same. It feels like a lot of the same.
I feel like they got to the end of season 1 and they're like, where do we go from here? I know. We'll just repeat it in the 60s.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I will say, go on. Sorry.
Well, I mean, okay. Let me ask this: did you guys enjoy season 1?
I was very
entertaining.
I enjoyed it 50% of the time.
Yeah.
The other 50% of the time, I thought it was over the top. It was just too much.
I
was trying way too hard, right?
I didn't even think it was over the top. I thought it was. Well, I guess it was over. Like it was overdoing what the messages it was trying to send, and I was like,
it was trying too hard.
Yeah,
it was trying. It was trying too hard to be edgy and cool and different and fantastical. Yeah.
By episode 7, I think I skipped an entire episode because I was like,
you did not really.
Yeah. And I was like,
okay.
I don't want to. I know, like I can tell just because I scrubbed through it, and I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly.
By like seeing what is happening on the screen without.
And there was so much that could have been, so much fat could have been trimmed off.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Klaus's escapades in 1970s Vietnam. And he has like a lover who dies, and then they don't bring it back.
Important though.
Is it?
It wasn't.
How was that important? Why? Why was that important?
Here's the thing.
I don't think it was important to the plot. I think it was important socially. Yes,
but we didn't get to experience it, so that's lazy storytelling.
So to me, actually, the thing about Umbrella Academy that kind of really makes it stand out to me is that it is not talking about plot driven or not, right? Is that the plot is secondary to the emotional arc and journey of these individual characters, right? There's a theme of when they have power, does it improve their life or not, or does it make and very much it's very deconstructive of what it means to be a hero, how the mundane life is affected, right? So for him, right, that journey of trying to deal with the hell of going through war, falling in love and loss, right? And all of his power does nothing for that. In fact, it only makes it worse because he connects with the dead, right? I mean, for all of these characters, their powers are very much a curse, whether it isolates them or keeps them apart from each other.
Well, I see that, but like the question is like, was that too drawn out? Like,
I don't think it was drawn out enough, honestly. I would have loved to have been there, have experienced it. Take several episodes, tell the story of him in Vietnam. I think I would have been moved. And then his lover dies tragically in the war. I would have been like, oh, I love Klaus even more now. But instead,
right.
We get this truncated. I don't know.
It came off as a lot of tell not show, and
yeah. I don't mind that it was in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind it was in there. It was just the way
it was
in which it was told.
Yeah.
Right.
Going back to season 2, episode 1, though, I mean, there's so many tropes that keep getting recycled that I think were half addressed in the first season, and I doubt that they're going to like fully address it now. Which is that,
such as,
which is that Vanya has another like episodic. We have to save the world again from a Vanya-induced apocalypse. She conveniently has amnesia. Inevitably will arrive at a conclusion where she remembers everything, and it's going to be the end of season 1 again, and then she's going to have to deal with the accumulated emotional interest of her siblings having betrayed her and then saved her and then whatnot.
I really could use a lot less like of Vanya being like a mystery box. I really could use it.
Yeah, let's just unravel it already.
Yeah.
I mean, and number 5, my boyfriend.
I mean, there's so many things that are similar. 5 is, again, the time traveler that has to tie all the storylines together.
Yeah.
He has to go fetch all the other characters and tell them that this is
to bring them together. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to deposit siblings in different ways, and you have to get them together, which is, like, going to take, at least half the season, if not more.
Yeah, and it's so convenient that some are placed in one year and some are placed in another year because it's all going to tie in later, and they need them to do that plot-wise.
And they got rid of the
main villain from last season, and what about those 2 agents, including Mary J. Blige?
The 2 agents, yeah.
And the waitress.
You saw one of them. You saw Hazel.
But he dies.
Hazel, and he
died.
He got shot. Yeah.
And then what about that waitress chick he was trying to elope with? Remember her?
He died.
Yeah.
Oh my god! What the heck?
You mentioned it. She had cancer.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god!
That's what gold and all that.
Are you kidding me?
Actually, to me, it didn't bother me because they've created a format. They've created, a method, right? It's like we don't bash on Indiana Jones because every Indiana Jones movie follows the same format and the same story beats. In fact, it's the same story beats that every James Bond film hits, right? Because this is the form. This is the genre, right? So to me, I mean, I'm like, okay, so now you've put it in this new setting. You've created these new situations. The idea of putting, oh gosh, what's her name? Allison. A way more interesting situation to be in.
Her arc is actually really interesting because she's almost Lovecraft Country, right?
I know, exactly.
The same thing. Yeah.
Right. In the same time period.
Mm-hmm.
I will say also, I have actually watched through the whole show. So,
I have a
so you have some kind of, right.
So I am limiting what I'm talking about.
I do want to say I recognize that there's definitely a formula here, and I don't necessarily I don't necessarily fault it for that. I do want to see how they execute it, of course, because I mean that's kind of the great balancing act. You can have a formula, right? Mm-hmm. But is it going to be entertaining enough for people to not see through through the facade? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And for right now, I think that first episode I'm moderately interested. I like that there is a clearer goal this time as opposed to the first season, where it was like, oh, they're here to celebrate or mourn their dad's passing, but we never really knew what their goal was.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So this one, we have an apocalypse. It might be tropey, but like I just do want to see how this is going to be brought to completion.
Yeah, fair. I mean, I think, I can see why Umbrella Academy is so entertaining. It's like a niche genre. It's like
super stylish.
It's stylistic, right? Mm. Like people who like pop culture, people who like the superhero genre, people who like teen drama, like they're going to gravitate towards this because it presents its tropes like so clearly,
Right.
And people who enjoy this would definitely cut themselves off from like weighing this with the same, I guess, like critical eye as they would view the first season of Game of Thrones, for example. You know what I mean? I feel like,
I think definitely different standards, right? and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a matter of taste. But I'm going to keep on watching. I mean, it's not City of Angels yet, so.
Yeah, I took you guys' recommendation, and I hear it's City of Angels is canceled now, isn't it?
It is.
Oh.
Is it? You guys, people watched our podcast. They came to their senses. They realized this show sucks.
But I have heard a lot of sadness from the Latinx community.
Yeah.
About that.
Oh man, I don't know. A small part of me was still hoping like maybe they'll get their shit together in the next season, but
I always hope that.
It's dead, man. It's dead.
Anyway.
So
Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, Umbrella Academy. It's a thing.
Yeah.
But we're going to move on to DC Fandom, which is
I keep thinking you're trying to say fandom. But it really is fandom. I was like, why are you saying fandom?
Why is it fandom?
It's the DC fandom.
Wait, really?
But yeah,
it's fandom. Yeah.
Andy, so let us know. I know we the basic thing is that it's a basically an online con. They're doing whatever they would have done in Hall H during Comic-Con, but on the internet.
Okay.
So but I think Andy is one who actually sat there and watched through all of it. So what were your impressions?
Well, the thing that's most fascinating to me about this really is the context of everything, right? So first of all, of course, you have Comic-Con, which of course, quickly went online and quickly tried to figure out how they were doing that. And DC made the conscious decision of, we're going to step back and we're going to announce that we're doing this other thing, right? Then you have also all of this other stuff, right? AT&T bought Warner Entertainment in 2018. You have in June they dropped their long-term relationship with Diamond Distributions, so all of their comics are basically going mostly all direct digital distributions, other than some mail order. I think that they developed a new relationship with. They also announced all of their new content for the DC Universe app was going to HBO Max. And then, of course, 2 weeks ago, they announced a massive layoff,
right?
Which basically decimated their editorial staff. This is actually just DC. So about a third of their editorial staff got laid off. And the choice to do that 2 weeks before this event was kind of ballsy and kind of phenomenally, amazingly smart, because to go with this kind of massive kind of cleaning house and then 2 weeks later go with this huge hype machine to basically do an online con.
That was absolutely planned.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They had to improve their public opinion after that such a big layoff.
Well, and you kind of wonder how much of that editorial staff that got laid off knew this was coming or not, right? Because this is such a calculated move.
Very much so, I'd say.
But that said, we had they also did some last minute changes where they switched it up so that they were going to do one whole weekend with 2 days of content. And instead they did one day, Saturday, and then they announced at the last minute they were moving the rest of the content to September 13th, I believe, September 12th, right? So they did all of their big movie reveals and panels and everything for this last Saturday, and then they've moved everything, given a 3 week gap for this buzz machine to kind of do everything that a con does before they reconfirm and reaffirm everything. So I think it's just kind of amazing, just on the nuts and bolts sides. It's kind of brilliant business moves on their part. And, I'm kind of sad to see DC Universe app go the wayside.
Which was great. It was a great app that everybody slept on. Everybody.
I know. It didn't quite catch on. I also love that it was movies, animation, and comics, right?
And comics. That's the part that everybody forgets. The entirety of the catalog. Well, a good chunk of the catalog.
Yeah. So, anyways, getting specifically to the event this weekend, right? We had a lot of stuff. We had the let's see here. We had the Wonder Woman trailer. We had our first look at
oh my god,
Kristen Wiig as the cheetah.
Right.
didn't look like cats, so that's a good thing.
Oh, God.
Always a good thing.
And
No,
I'm actually
Photoshop
Cats.
buttholes.
I do want to Photoshop
Can't
butthole.
believe.
Yeah.
I'm also excited
Cats
to
and
kind of
buttholes.
see a more kind of intense, dramatic or melodramatic Kristen Wiig, and see what she does with this. We also saw Pedro
Comedians doing
Pascal.
drama. I'm all for it.
We see Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord and get a little bit more background in terms of what the premise of the movie is, with this idea of wishes being granted. Let's see here. We also saw the full cast of Suicide Squad together,
Right.
and also the first look of footage for that. Of course, there was a reveal.
No
of,
Jared Leto or
huh?
No
Jared Leto.
right?
No.
But there are so many people in this
Thank
cast.
God. I mean, not that I don't like him, but like, we don't
He's
need
being
another
toxic
Joker story.
on set.
We
Yeah.
don't.
The
Also,
Phoenix, Walking Phoenix gave us the definitive one in my head.
No.
Yes.
He's
We
okay.
also had a reveal
was
of more
amazing.
footage of the Snyder Cut, or the Snyder Cut, I guess, streaming series, I guess now, right? That will be
It's a
coming.
series, yeah. It's not a film. It's not a feature. I think it's a 4-part series, right? So
Do we know how many parts it is? I don't
I
know.
thought I heard it was 4 parts, but I might have been mistaken.
I know it's like the 4-hour cut, but I don't know if that's like half-hour episodes
Right.
or
4 parts, yeah.
I,
Full
I,
check.
I was surprised about that too, because they were talking so much about like the Snyder Cut. Then all of a sudden they're like, no, it's a mini series. I'm like, whoa! So they're gonna do like, it's gonna be like Chernobyl, where it's like like four 1-hour long episodes, or what? So I don't think they did say how long it's gonna be. Yeah,
they're probably still the same.
Aaron Davis in chat says 4 parts.
4
okay,
parts.
so that makes sense. Yeah, probably like 4 1-hours. Probably.
4-hour-long pieces from Fred Frazier. Yep.
Yeah.
We also got to see a little bit of concept art for the new Flash movie, which
Right.
will include both Batmans, both Batfleck
Michael Keaton Batman.
and Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
We also got they did a really interesting thing for Black Adam, where it was The Rock in his kind of CGI fortress, talking about the Black Adam movie, and just basically intercut with basically comic art panels, talking about what the movie will be. The other thing too, right, beyond all of the movie reveals and all kind of the hype machine, I was really excited about all the fan art, all the cosplay, all the kind of unusual things that you got to see. They even did a portfolio review that Jim Lee basically took in like 5 people's art and did a review on camera, and you just get to see Jim Lee rip apart this amazing art and go, okay, you could do some more with the lighting.
Your foreshadowing is like long.
Yeah, I did see that. That was a good point,
That's kinda
because
dope.
during the Wonder Woman portion, they did like a cosplay review of like Wonder Woman cosplayers with Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
So she was like, "Oh my god, this looks amazing," and that was like really really cool, because it was just like, they had her, and then they had Linda Carter show up too, which is like
she showed up.
She showed up, and I was like,
Nice.
"Oh my god, she still looks amazing." And I'm like, "Yo, she's crazy. It's crazy." So yeah. But
I mean, this is the thing I was talking about. Another podcaster friend of mine, Mr. Benj over at the 8-Bit Cubist. This was given us real Comic Con vibes, right?
Right. As opposed to Comic Con at home.
Yeah, and it's like this was kind of what Comic Con could have been, which was kind of great to see, actually, of talking about how we evolve the medium and the genre forward.
I almost feel like because everybody has been putting on like some kind of online con, they took all the lessons from what worked and what didn't over this past summer, and they created this, which it seems for like in a lot of people's opinion is probably the best that you can do in terms of having a con online. So it is kind of cool. What we haven't talked about yet, and as we are running out of time, is the Batman trailer. The Matt Reeves movie.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
And I think all the naysayers are going to be eating crow.
What?
The naysayers are going to be eating crow?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
I think so.
He's on the up and up.
He is. And I've never thought that he was like a bad actor. I mean,
Well, have you recently watched Twilight?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna I'm not going to fault him for that movie.
Even he criticizes himself.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that's who he was. Right. But I heard The Lighthouse from last year is like insanely amazing, and that it was snubbed for an Oscar. Have you seen it? Is it good?
Yeah, I saw it. It's good.
Is he good in it?
He's great in it. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to I don't know. It's like a battle of wills because like, I mean, Willem Dafoe is fucking
he's fantastic. Yeah.
And yeah, our Path is also great. I'm thinking about like his other stuff too, like Water for Elephants. I've seen him in stuff that I've liked.
All right, yeah.
Well, Did you see the one where it was like Childhood of a Dictator or something like that?
I didn't see that one, but
I really want to see it. It looks.
It's always weird to me when like fans go around and then they naysay like somebody for a role, and I'm like, you have no idea.
You don't know.
Like, people said that about Heath Ledger.
Right,
remember?
They did. Oh,
I said that about Heath Ledger, and I liked Heath Ledger.
I mean, they said it about every Batman.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But some Batmans are better than others.
Yeah.
So that said, we're seeing footage of a very gritty, really dark, and
like a noir. It looks like a detective almost,
kind of 70s noir, right?
Yeah.
And kind of drawing from Long Halloween and Dark Victory as some of these classic Tim Sale, Jeff Loeb stories as the blueprint for this. I'm excited for this. I'm a big Batman reader from the 90s and late 80s.
See,
I watched the animated show.
That animated show is still the definitive like.
Yeah, it's a good show.
The definitive like Batman property for me. But what I'm really looking forward to in this is like the prospect of having like an introspective like psychological look into Batman, which is I feel like what we're going to see.
Well, and also the world's greatest detective side of it, which is we never see the right?
Yeah.
And that was the great thing about Halloween.
And the Riddler, right?
Well, there's three. There are three villains this time, right?
More, probably more.
What?
Because to do a full-on detective story.
Because what's his name is in it too? Colin Farrell is the Penguin. The Penguin.
They've named the Riddler.
Riddler is Paul Dano. My girlfriend's in it. Zoe Kravitz.
And of course the Falcone family.
Zoe Kravitz.
I'll take Paul Dano.
She's Catwoman, yeah.
Selena Kyle.
Get ready, bitch. Get ready.
And you see a shot of her. That's another thing too. All the design choices where Catwoman in basically literally a cutout.
Yeah.
Dude, that Batmobile is fucking heat.
And it's literally like just welded on like roll cage.
But same thing with Batman's outfit. His mask he just like slips on, right? It's not one of those high-tech things from the Nolan films, right?
I'm not exactly sure.
In the trailer he takes it off just like that. Like,
oh really?
Yeah. Well, I mean
I missed that. I'll have to look.
Go watch it. Watched it a few times.
Yeah, Batmobile is sexy. Gabriel Bosco, the era of Batman they chose, and I didn't connect the title amongst the direct. No, damn. Fred is spot on. Oh, that's Pangeekery. But yeah, gosh, a lot of stuff to look forward to. That trailer does look great. I can't wait to see more of it. But that brings us to the end of this show. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Everybody in chat, thank you for interacting with us today. Shout out to our special guest host, Andy Lowe. Thank you for joining us tonight. Yay! And of course, shout out to our special guest, Francois Chau, for the amazing talk.
Thank you, everyone.
Again, we are back for at least for the next 3 weeks here, 8 p.m. on Mondays here at twitch.tv/pangeekery. Do join us for streams for the rest of the week. Our streaming schedule is up on our Twitch. And hit us up on all the socials. Hit us up on Discord. Y'all are the best. But we'll see you next week for sure. And thank you to the cast and crew, to Rodney. Happy birthday again, brother.
Yeah.
And then next week, my seat will be taken by.
What was that?
And then next week, my seat will be taken by.
Next week, who do we have?
Chelsea Bites.
We have Chuck Babb in the guest host seat to interview Chelsea Bites with us.
Right.
And the week after that, we have hopefully Daisuke Tuji back again as
Yeah.
guest host to interview
And-
Karen Huey, so we can round out our interview.
Our
I know, our
GOT,
yeah.
Our Ghost of Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima
Electing him.
actors.
I know.
Yeah.
But thank you, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night. Take care, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Bye.
Late.